Hi there. I'd like to think my videos are light-hearted, a bit of fun and entertaining, but occasionally we've got to have a serious one. Now the good news is I'm going to be fine. I've had all my treatment and I am fine. I have recovered and I'm going to be fine. But I thought I'd tell you my story. I found out I'd got thyroid cancer about 9 months ago, and it has affected what YouTube videos I do, the ability to do them and whether I wanted to do them. And you probably noticed I had a very croaky voice early in the year. Now it is difficult to tell people. I did tell all my family and friends, but I get a lot of people who see me on YouTube coming up and talking to me, and they immediately say, "Oh, how are you going? Are you alright?" And I've said yes. I couldn't tell them, so I felt I wasn't telling everybody the truth. And it bothered me that, I wasn't telling people how I really was. So I thought, I was in two minds whether to do this video. Then I thought, I'll do it, and then it lets everybody know what's been happening to me over these last 18 months. And perhaps it might help somebody who's in a similar situation. And it also shows that no matter what cancer it is, if you can catch cancer, get it in its early stages, you can make a full recovery. Things have moved on so much. It's not the end anymore. You can make a full recovery. Now this all started about 18 months ago. I'd got an ache in my right arm. Now, as you've seen from my videos, I'm always climbing up stuff, wild camping, something you could expect. Anyway, my wife persuaded me to go to the doctors. They weren't worried or concerned. They said it might be a trapped nerve or something like that. We better send you for an MRI scan. So I went and had the MRI scan. I ain't been to hospital for 25 years. Anyway, when I had the MRI scan, a letter came back, nothing to worry about, the ache in your arm, probably due to normal wear and tear in your neck. Bit of physio might help. There was another paragraph, and it said, "By the way, we have spotted a small nodule," no, it just said a nodule on your thyroid gland. And I thought, I wonder what that is. Little did I know it was going to cause me probably 20 to 25 visits to the hospital in the next year or so. Now, your thyroid gland, it's in your neck here. It's in the shape of a butterfly, two halves and a central piece. It basically provides hormones to your body that control your metabolism, your heartbeat, your brain, your moods. So it's very important. It does control an awful lot. Luckily, they can replace those hormones with a tablet called thyroxine. So, I had the MRI scan. Next thing was a ultrasound scan. They said that is better to get a better view of your thyroid gland. So I went and had the ultrasound scan, went back to the consultant. Sorry, we're still not sure what it is, it wasn't clear. So the next option was to go for it was a guided needle using ultrasound to guide a needle into the lump or nodule and then take a biopsy. So I went and had that done. Went back to the consultant and she said, I'm sorry, we still don't know what it is. We just can't say either way. So she said, you can carry on, keep having these tests. Which I said, no way, this has wound me up so much, I don't want to keep on doing this. And she said, the other option is to have surgery. We'll remove half your thyroid gland. We can then put it under the microscope and say definitely what it is. And then you can live off the other half of your thyroid, probably supplement it with some tablets, see how you go. So I thought, yep, that's fine, I'll go for the operation. It was just an overnight stay in hospital. I felt fine. It did bruise the nerves to my vocal cords, which they told me it might do. And I had a croaky voice for around 2 months. I think it was around February, March this year, and you will have noticed it on some of my YouTube videos. And it made making any videos really difficult because my voice was so croaky. Anyway, I felt fine and I thought, well, that's it, I'll be okay. I went back to see the consultant about a month later, and she said, yes, we examined your thyroid and the lump under the microscope. Oh, and it is cancer. Totally shocked. And she said, don't worry, we can treat it. There is no problem, it's not going to affect your life, you will be fine. It's easy to say that. I was really shocked, really stunned, couldn't believe it. I had a difficult 2 months getting my head round it. Nobody in my family, that's my parents, my grandparents, nobody had had cancer. Why should have I got it? Nobody can tell me. I still have an awful lot I want to do. So it was a very difficult 2 months getting my head round it. More secrets coming out now. Now, in the daytime, you see me wild camping, crawling through drains, climbing over security fences, railway tunnels, even climbing trees. Sort of a bit of a roughy-tufty, adventurous lifestyle. Well, here's a surprise for you. In the evenings, I spend about 4 nights a week going ballroom and sequence dancing with my wife. Now, the people there are they were very supportive. They are all perhaps a little bit older, 65, 70 being the average age. They're a little older, they've probably seen all this before. And they kept telling me, you'll be fine. So they were so supportive, and they did help me through that difficult 2-month period. And several of them said, look, if you're going to get cancer, this is a really good one to get because they can treat it. It is very easy to treat. So I find them really supportive, and it did help me get through that difficult 2-month period. Now for the next stage. I'll try and explain it best I can. The cancerous nodule on my thyroid gland, and half my thyroid gland had been removed. I say nodule, it was over 25mm in diameter. I'd call that a big lump, not a nodule. I remember now when I used to swallow, the side of my throat moved out. I never realised what it was. I thought it was just normal and we all swallowed like that. So it might have been there for a while. So the next stage was that although they'd removed the cancer, there could be some cancerous cells still there. So to get rid of those, they were going to use something called radioactive iodine. The way your thyroid works is that it takes iodine out your food, converts it to thyroid hormones. So if they give you radioactive iodine, it will go straight to the thyroid cells and kill them. To get it to work effectively, they obviously had to remove the other half of my thyroid gland. So it would just be any, perhaps, cells left, that was all. So they arranged another hospital appointment for the operation. It came through May the 23rd. My birthday is May the 24th. So I was going to wake up in the hospital. I wasn't bothered, at least he got it all sorted. The operation went fine, I didn't lose my voice, and the scar, you probably never even noticed it, because she cut the old scar out, did the operation, stitched it up, and it was in exactly the same place. So probably nobody noticed any change at all. Getting ready for the radioactive iodine treatment, that was for August. Now before I could have that treatment, I had to go on an iodine free diet for 2 weeks. You wouldn't believe all the foods that have got some traces of iodine in. So it was quite a bland diet, but I was okay with that. You could say meat, vegetables, potatoes, they are the sort of foods I liked. So I was okay with it. I'd got a list of foods I could have, foods I couldn't have. Beer was on the foods I could have. There's no iodine in beer. I could have as much beer as I wanted. The one thing that did hurt me was milk. I wasn't allowed milk for 2 weeks. And I love milk in the morning, on semi-Weetabix, in my tea. Oh, I tried all sorts. I can't drink tea without milk, so I really did miss the milk. So the day of the treatment came along, and it was in the nuclear medicine department of the hospital. There was 3 of us, all exactly the same problem, all having the same treatment. We were sat in a little room. We took the radioactive tablet, and we were in that room for about 5 or 6 hours, just waiting for the radiation levels to drop low enough, and then we were allowed home. Because I was still a little bit radioactive, I wasn't allowed near anybody for a long time, for 2 weeks, for a 2-week period. I had to sleep downstairs, and I couldn't go dancing. There was no dancing for 2 weeks. So, got to September now, end of September, not long ago. I went to see the consultant. He was very happy. He said everything had worked perfectly. There were traces of iodine, radioactive iodine, in my throat, which did, because I had a scan after the treatment, an hour and a half scanning. So he could see that there was a bit of radioactive iodine in my throat, and he said that's where we expected to see it. There was nothing else in the rest of my body what they were looking for. So he said everything had worked fine, and bye you should be all okay now. Obviously they're going to look after me in the future. I've got to go back in 3 months and then 6 months, so there will be a lot of checks coming up. So it is now time to move forward. Definitely more wild camps. I've hardly done any this year. I just did not feel like it. I probably felt a bit tired, but I don't think it was this. It was the worry of me thyroid and the cancer. It wasn't anything else. And I just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't get my head around going wild camping. I basically, all this year, I have lived from one appointment to the next appointment. You'd be having a test, you go back for the results. You don't know what's happening. Another test. So you basically live from test to hospital visit. So I just didn't feel like wild camping. So I have got quite a few wild camps planned in these coming months. I've lots of other stuff I've been thinking about doing. So hopefully I will keep you entertained in these next few months and for the future as well. So I'm glad I've explained what's been going on and told you my story, and that you all know what's been happening. I'm really glad now that I've told everybody. So if I could thank you for listening, and I will see you soon on another video, and I can tell you now it will be a wild camp. Bye then.